Okay, what we have here on the bench today is a Dean signature model. This is a Jackie Vincent guitar. This, I believe, is from circa 2016, and the owner dropped it off for a setup, clean, and also a pickup change. So they want these pickups removed. I'm probably going to change the plastics as well, and we're going to go with a set of, by their request, a Bill Lawrence set. So interesting to hear how this will sound. Anyway, I'm going to start taking the strings off and then remove the pickups and then put the new ones in and wire them, and we'll see where we go with this. Anyway, stay tuned, and here we go. I'm going to start by removing the strings, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple of like beer coasters and a towel, wrap it up, and then put it under the trem just to keep tension on the spring so it doesn't fall into the cavity. Seems to work pretty good for me in the past, so we'll just keep dealing with it. I've used various things, but I think the cork doesn't dent anything and save the inside of the cavity there. I know it's padded underneath there, but whatever. Okay, so we got that all set up, and now we're just going to get rid of these strings out of here. I'm going to unlock the nut and just go from there. So I'm going to pause this a second because you don't need to see me take off the strings, and then we'll kick the video back up here as soon as I start taking the pick guard off. All right, see you in a minute. All right, we're going to start working on the pick guard here. Got my parts tray set up. And we'll see how this goes. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to polish the frets up as well. They don't look too bad, but I'm just going to glance over them anyway. The guitar's in really good shape. I think maybe the owner doesn't play it very much, probably because they don't like the sound of the pickups, which is understandable in this case. So I think these came in two tiers. The owner has both. There's a higher end tier of this guitar, and I want to say this is the lower end tier in the line. We'll see what we have here. And there's a lot of screws in this thing. Also, I believe that this guitar body is scaled down in size. I don't really know Jackie Vincent or the music that he plays, or whatever, but this guitar is scaled down. It looks like it's probably like 5% smaller than a regular guitar. I don't know, I'm guessing it's probably not at 5%, but whatever. It does look small. Let's see how much leeway we have here at wiring so I can show you what's going on here. Okay. Doesn't look like I can go very far, but let's just see what we have. So you can see. All right, they don't really have a name on them. They just have a neck and bridge stamping on the pickups. Let's see if I can turn it this way so you guys can see. That'll work. That's what the inside looks like. And I'm going to see what we got here and then go from there. It's got those little mini pots in it. You can see there. So we'll see what we got going on. All right, we'll be back in a second. Okay, so a little bit of a soapbox here. So I see the internet is littered with Bill Lawrence requesting diagrams kind of comments or whatever you want to say. It's like people are on forums trying to figure out what the wiring is. There are some wiring diagrams on their website, but I guess it was from when Bill was alive and they're in pencil or whatever the hell. So I'm on their website right now on my phone, and I'm looking at this, and it says for split coil wiring, solder the combined red and green wires to one of the terminals, right, and then connect the other to ground. Okay, or even in standard wiring, it says connect the red and green wires and insulate them and combine the ends, right, like you would do. Okay, so from the factory, they have soldered the green and white wires together. Why would you do that? If you know that it's supposed to be the other by factory default, then why not do that? Or how about don't solder them at all together? It doesn't make any sense to me. I've actually went on a couple of other sites where I found some people that have actually wired some of this stuff, and I just don't get it. Why would you do that? For what purpose? Anyway, we're just trucking on here. I'm gonna have to unsolder these two connections and make adjustments, but it just doesn't. I just don't get it. Anyway, see you in a minute. Okay, so I thought I would have a video of replacing these pickups for you, but as it turned out, there were so many factors here that we had to reconsider. I called the owner of the guitar, so real quick, I'll explain this. I did bolt it back down now, but so when I went to put the Bill Lawrence pickups in, the Bill Lawrence pickups will not fit in these openings on this pickguard. It is beyond tight. Not even tight. They just won't fit in there, which means I would have to grind. And where it's touching is the sides here, because the Bill Lawrence have like a extended curvature. So I would have to grind the pickguard open to get this in. However, the hole between the pickguard and the opening is only like 1 millimeter or so. So if I was to grind that, it would probably crack these open. So then the idea was, I called the owner and we decided that maybe we can get a custom pickguard cut for this and then put the pickups in. But because the guitar's value and it's, we really didn't want to, he didn't really want to, and I don't blame him. We discussed it that it wasn't worth spending more money for a custom pickguard, which is usually about $65 to put in there. And then these little mini pots I wasn't too sure about. So these, I would suggest changing these out, put a new cap, new pots, new cap, new switch. And, in the end, it was going to be a lot of investment into a guitar that he probably doesn't play very much out of the herd anyway. So, and also, just to mention, because of the dimensions of where these holes are, they had to bend the ears of the pickups downward. So if you were inside the guitar looking up, the ears of the pickup are bent downward on 45-degree angles so that the screws can actually line up with the holes. Because this whole body is scaled down, it just doesn't seem, it seemed like they had to do a lot of trickery to get this thing in line. Also, when they mounted the tremolo cover plate, and I'll flip this over, get my bearings correct. This screw here, because it's a standard plate, I think, size plate, but the body's smaller, they probably didn't think about how the holes were going to line up interior-wise. This screw goes right through the inside of the guitar and comes out the control cavity. Now you can't see it, but still, it looks like a lot of this stuff. It looks like a lot of this stuff was like an afterthought or whatever. So, they scaled down the body, they did whatever, but it's not right. So, anyway, I gave him pros and cons of what we can do. We can, trace out the pickguard and then get a new pickguard, change the configuration if you wanted, do a double humbucker or one humbucker and one volume, which I thought would look wicked on this thing. But in the end, he's going to, use those Bill Lawrence pickups on another project. So I think we're just going to string this thing back up, put it back together, get it back to the way it was. And, I'm going to adjust the pickups a little bit lower to maybe clean them up a little bit because they are kind of muddy. There's no, like I said in the beginning, there's no designations or anything on the pickup. So these are just like, I would say pretty low grade import pickups. Now I don't know what the better version of this has in it. I don't remember. He said that I worked on that one in the past and did some fixing. He took it to a tech. The tech screwed it up, and it was buzzing all over the place. Everything was out of whack. And he says that I adjusted everything and got it set up, and its plays fantastic. So I'm assuming it has with the upper tier Dean pickups in it or something. I don't remember. But anyway. So this video went to hell in a handbasket, I guess you could say. I'm gonna put it up online though, and just anyway, so people could see this. Like, sometimes when you have an idea of putting something in the guitar, it doesn't work out. There's a bunch of cascading effects that is one problem after another. So yeah, and I've had some issues before in the past with certain pickups not working in guitars or not fitting correctly, or things would have to be routed to put them in, and is it worth the time and money and effort to do it? So anyway, thanks for watching Vinny the Axe. Got more content coming. For those of you who subscribe to the channel, thank you so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. If you've had issues and guitar nightmares in the past, put them in the comments below. Love to see other people's experiences and chat and see, what happened to you. And if you have one of these things and experience some issues, let me know. But if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It does help out the channel a lot. It does help me out. It does push the algorithm. It does advance the channel out to people that haven't seen it before, and it also keeps you updated on any new content that's coming out. So from the workbench in the garage, this is Vinny the Axe signing off. Have a great weekend. Take it easy.